So what do we see? In the rapidly expanding research scene, learner engagement is preferably conceptualized as comprising the three key dimensions of behavioral, cognitive, and emotional engagement. This stems from educational psychology. Behavioral refers to what learners do, cognitive to what learners think, and emotional to how learners feel when carrying out a learning task or activity. Recent studies on task engagement suggest theoretical models that include a social dimension that reflects students' social involvement with the task. At a first glance, this extension of the original three-dimensional model seems convincing, since more often than not, aspects of social interaction play an important role in learners' engagement in communication and related task activities. On closer inspection, however, we saw in our study that an undesirable conceptual conflict spoils the picture. Manifestations of social engagement are often complex assemblies of behavioral, cognitive, and attitudinal qualities of task engagement. It is thus problematic to treat social engagement as an additional dimension with the same theoretical value as the three facets of human experience. We argue that student social involvement in a task can manifest itself as an indicator on all three dimensions. For example, offering support and providing peer feedback can say something about how students engage with each other socially on the behavioral dimension. Reflecting on the relevance of having a good relationship with their communicative partner can be seen as social involvement on the cognitive level, and liking or feeling comfortable with their communicative partner indicates social involvement on the attitudinal dimension. As such, and building on the argument that peer interaction in the task-based classroom is by its very nature a social activity that reveals itself through indicators on the three traditional dimensions, the question arises if we need a separate social dimension to measure how learners engage with their tasks. In addition, another issue we consider to be problematic concerns the measurement and analysis of how learners engage with tasks. While the dimensions, so what learners do, what they think, and how they feel, are described in the literature as complementary, they are usually measured and analyzed separately based on a combination of Likert scales and interviews. However, neither in human activity in general, nor in communication in particular, do these dimensions of engagement operate in isolation. Any activity is shaped by the closely intertwined interaction of behavioral, cognitive, and emotional qualities of engagement. In other words, there is no behavior without cognition, there is no cognition without emotions. So, to resolve the described conceptual and empirical conflicts, we argue for distinguishing between an integrated three-dimensional model of task engagement and a model of task performance parameters that help specify those aspects of the activity area under consideration that are deemed relevant for identifying and understanding learners' engagement with tasks. Our integrated three-dimensional model consists of the three dimensions: behavior, what learners do; cognition, what learners think; and attitude, concerning how learners feel when realizing a task. These qualities of task engagement are studied in an integrated fashion through the lens of specific task aspects. So we see the three dimensions as three sides of the same coin. When we look at the second model, we see that the parameters represent aspects or elements of the task learners can engage with. In a grounded theory fashion, we identified 7 task aspects or TP performance or task performance parameters. In the case of intercultural virtual exchange, so the context in which we conducted the PhD study, relevant task parameters included task management, topic and content, language, modality, communicative participation, partner orientation, and task appropriation. Combining the two models led to the two-layered approach, in which the 3 qualities of task engagement were studied through a task performance or TP parameter lens. So the performance and introspective data was divided in 7 categories, and per category, so per task performance parameter, students' engagement on the behavioral, the cognitive, and attitudinal level was mapped. Using a two-layered approach made the analysis less complex, but it also provided us with a clearer and richer picture of students' engagement with the task aspect at hand.